Hi, my name is Jacob Fitzgibbon. I hope you're all doing well and thank you for giving me your time today. So, the COVID-19 pandemic sent the world online. It forced businesses to adapt to these accelerated digital transformations and the next normal. The digitization impact has only made our online presence and brand reputation more imperative for businesses to operate. So today, I'll walk you through some of the key initiatives that are integral to enhancing, or what I like to refer to as renovating, your brand's reputation. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to cover every approach, but I've included the foundations and part of the structure and what maintenance and beyond can look like for you. So we want to make sure that you don't lose your customers at the start of their journey, and we can do this by learning to build a better story. A bit about myself. I'm the communications manager for DataZoo. After graduating from Charles Sturt University with a Bachelor in Communications Advertising, I started my career working as an account executive. And by being creative and proactive with my work, I was quickly able to prove myself. And for the last 3 years, I've been managing all of the marketing and communications across DataZoo. During my time here, I've had the task to design and execute multiple successful marketing strategies. And this was all with the opportunity to expand and implement a global strategy as we grew. At DataZoo, we help reporting entities identify, disrupt, and prevent money laundering and terrorism financing within their organization. And this is done through our solution that helps verify their customers' identities. So our competitive landscape is quite tricky. We're up against global companies that have been around for quite a while, and they're worth close to 100 to 500 million each. And the biggest challenge for us was building this brand reputation and implementing a creative strategy on a minimal budget to get us a seat at the table. So through our digital efforts recently, our success is demonstrated across our client portfolio. And last year alone, we increased our digital conversions by circa 210% year on year. And this was all while we were acquiring some of the top global financial institutions as our clients. So to begin, we need to understand the ecosystem and the bigger picture. Right now, we live in this digital era, and we define this as the period where large amounts of information are readily available to many people, and this is mainly done through computer technology. So in January of this year, there were around 5.2 billion mobile users, 4.6 billion internet users, and 4.2 billion active social media users. Now, the total number of internet users worldwide grew by around 320 million, and that was over the last 12 months. So if we put it down to a day, that's around 875,000 new users each day. Globally, the internet users are growing at an annual rate of around 7% or more. However, this year-on-year growth is a lot higher in developing economies. We define digital transformation as the process where we use digital technologies to create new or modify existing business processes, culture, and customer experiences to meet changing business and market requirements. And it's all about reimagining the business in a digital age. So we've been in this new stage of transformation for some time now. And businesses and countries are focused on equipping themselves with these advanced technologies and new business models just to stay relevant and competitive in this fast-changing digital world. And with COVID-19, it presented one of the most formidable challenges in recent history to governments, businesses, and society. Many people considered it to be the ultimate tipping point for the 21st century, and it was a wake-up call for companies to plan and deal with disruptions to ensure business continuity. So for many organizations, COVID-19 had turned digitization from a nice-to-have to a must-have, and it's forcing them to adapt and modernize quickly so they can keep their operations running. Elizabeth Arden said, "Reputation makes reputation, and reputation makes customers." In a digital world, today, reputation is one of the most valuable marketing assets a brand or business can have. However, too many marketers and business owners remain in this mindset where they're just managing the reputation. And that is, they only tend to it when a problem occurs, which is what we call a reactive approach. So, a well-defined and executed brand strategy influences all aspects of a business. It directly addresses consumer needs, emotions, and competitive environments. Today, the primary marketplace differentiator is the experience. And while many companies compete primarily on just customer experience, successful companies align and unify the combination of brand experience and customer experience. And when I talk about brand experience, I'm referring to the feelings or reactions evoked when a customer encounters the brand. And it plays an important part at each step of the customer journey. And we don't want it to just end at the purchase. There's follow-ups, exceptional customer support, and ongoing engagement. They're all so essential to establish a remarkable brand experience. But on the other hand, we have customer experience, and it can be defined as the way customers perceive their interactions with a brand. So if a brand stands for kindness and compassion, then that is what customers expect across all channels. With consistency, customer experience can foster loyalty, and it can also drive advocacy for a brand. Brand experience and customer experience are both independent strategies, yet they work together cohesively to help one another accomplish their goals. Walter Lander, a branding pioneer, stated that products are made in the factory, but brands are created in the mind. So the physical price of a brand and its products may be easy to calculate. However, the consumer's perceptions determine the real worth of a brand and its products. To understand how these customers evaluate a brand or product, we want to take a few steps back and start at the beginning. The success of a brand all relies on well-defined values from the start. The critical step in creating your brand identity can be through running a branding workshop. So this will help you define a brand's vision, voice, and values. So we're looking at how a brand sees themselves in the future, how they communicate with their audience, and what they stand for or their essence. So these days, consumers are looking more behind the physical product and they're looking into the brand's values. John Gazema, a leader in identifying social change, stated that buyers are no longer in retreat, but they've become what he refers to as a mindful consumer. And these mindful consumers are more willing to spend money, but they crave value. So in their search for value, they consider things like research, and social proof. And they want your brand to also align with their personal brand. And by having these well-defined values as the foundation, from the start, it will help give you a competitive edge. It will help you tell a better story and to keep it consistent. So right now, I believe we're in this era of transparency. And it's becoming more important for brands to pursue a purpose and value, and that's beyond just making a profit. So Havas Media conducted a study, and they found that purposeful brands actually outperform the stock market by 133%. And this achieves marketing results double of those of lower rated brands. So giving your brand a purpose and a value changes the dialogue with customers from "what can I sell you" to "how can I help you?" Customers don't want to be treated as though they only represent profits to you. Prioritizing value and purpose helps drive engagement, loyalty, advocacy, even profits, while positively impacting on society and economy and the environment. Purpose is a defining characteristic for brands these days, and last year even the CEO of JP Morgan, in their shareholder letter, he did not mention to bother any profits nor losses. However, he wanted to address devoting the bank's support to new causes like education and immigration. So we need to look at demonstrating a commitment to providing value beyond the point of sale. According to Seth Godin, who is a highly respected entrepreneur, a key step to building our reputation is that brands need to be able to identify and target the right audience that already resonates with their values and purpose. And this is done by rather than casting to a broader net. So we want to find that appropriate marketing channel and produce the right tailored content to them. By embracing new technology and digitization, brands can select these new and right digital tools that help deliver a customer experience that reflects and supports their values and purpose. By investing in the right social media platforms, it's becoming a crucial element that to help brands build their reputation with their audience. With billions of people on social media platforms these days, communication and exposure are so much more manageable and so much more accessible worldwide than ever before, and it's only growing. And with this direct access to our customers now, social media opens up this opportunity where we can develop a strong brand message and a stronger customer experience. It's through a multi-layered social media strategy that will help brands control their image, monitor their online reputation, execute tailored content, and to keep an eye on competitors in the landscape. But first, brands need to consider each social media platform's pros and cons, and they need to understand what will work. It'll be taking into consideration things like the content available to share, the type of content on the platform, the positioning and the audiences on the platform. Brands should consider all of the popular platforms with their target market, and this is to obtain a better reach and to extend their brand to the right people. But to stay ahead of competitors, brands need to also recognize and consider new platforms so they don't fall behind. It's an interesting area for them to explore any unknown or unique platforms, and These are things such as Medium, Clubhouse, Upstream, even Twitch. They all have different complementary strategies in unique ways. But by being first to join a new social media channel in your out of your competitors, it might bring what's called a first mover advantage to your brand against your competitors. So I briefly mentioned how no platform is the same, but brands need to implement this diverse and tailored approach for each platform. There are all these different demographics, types of content, and even site flexibility on each. So each platform is just so unique and they require this individual approach or strategy. You want to consider that one size does not fit all. So I want to share this interesting stat that I found, and it's that nearly 40% of consumers these days have come to distrust with traditional advertising. So when you think about that, you also need to consider how much corporate places and enterprises are still spending in their marketing departments. The reason people trust digital marketing these days is that brands can actually tailor their content and they can foster this long-term relationship with their customers. And by tailoring a brand message to that platform, brands are continually producing this content that interests their customers, and it builds loyalty to have them keep coming back. We want to use social media to delight our customers and reinsert them back into this sales funnel for future purchases. So a successful brand will understand and tailor the type of content to their customers and for each platform. And as a brand, we do need to adapt these messages and goals to each platform. And they're for different purposes and also for different audiences. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, they're all particularly suitable for the B2C sector, right? There's community management, and you're able to address the target audience through these visual and interactive content. These social networks aren't just B2C though, they're also suitable for B2B, but more primarily for those companies to stimulate discussion, interaction, and encourage any customer loyalty. So therefore, the B2B companies using these channels are used less for selling services directly, but more for making people aware of the brand values and purposes. On the other hand, we have platforms like LinkedIn, which is generally suited towards more B2B companies. And this is done through thought leadership and more for obtaining leads. But it is also an interesting platform for B2C companies. And with the recent Facebook news ban in Australia, you do see these media publishers like Pedestrian moving to LinkedIn. With the content strategies you come up with, they can start to become very tricky and complicated across each platform, which is why brands need to consider a few important factors. Keeping brand consistency is so essential. It's started to become a defined phrase these days. And it's about ensuring that the content shares the same language, tone, and message. And this helps remove any confusion, allowing the audience to form easy associations with the content. The more often an organization's value or purpose is presented to a potential customer, the more likely they will remember the brand. Brands need enough consistency to be identifiable, but they also need enough variation just to keep things fresh and human. And in this fast-changing digital world, there's a sense of that brands need to remain flexible just to stay relevant. And just because it worked in the past for you doesn't mean that it's working now or working in the future. Flexibility and variation enable brands to make these little creative adjustments that help build interest and distinguish them from the competition. With design, it's all about the visual communication of your brand. So we're looking at how brands use particular colors, shapes, and fonts, and it all dictates the customer's perception of the brand. A brand's visual characteristics are far more immediate than its internal ones, and that's why design is just so relevant. If the design does not capture the essence, value, or purpose of a brand, in that case it becomes so much more challenging to convince the customers. A big one that I like to push is that brands need to be personified in a way that helps reveal who they are and actually what they stand for. And you can achieve this by providing insight into your staff or culture. And this is done through content like staff profiles or video content in the office or day-to-day. You want to use social media as a platform to transform your brand into a real person. People connect with people, and we're not robots. There is always a unique individual behind the brand account. Compared to traditional media, social media is just so personable. It's all about conversations and connections. Having these conversations with consumers help build these relationships and, in the end, create sales. So we want to engage customers through conversations, even chatbots, social messaging, calls. It's about building these relationships through personalized one-to-one content. And over COVID-19, this new methodology was so critical, just in staying relevant. Being able to be highly adaptable, and brands were able to alter any messages that met different situations or for different customers. And when they could combine this with more conversational tone in their brand messaging, one that brings a human voice to social media, it revealed the human side of the brand. Customers crave transparency, authenticity, and even vulnerability with their brands. So if you've ever heard the saying, 2 heads are better than one, well, it translates across for businesses. Another consideration is establishing collaborative partnerships as an effective way to build business, boost awareness, and break into new markets. And for a partnership to really work, we want both partners to benefit. But not just them, their audiences also need to find it a valuable partnership. It is really important that brands only do consider partnerships that align with their or even a similar purpose and values, as the wrong partnership can really impact your brand reputation, customer experience, and brand experience. Otherwise, it is a really good opportunity where you can engage followers with a fresh new approach. You're able to create content with your partners that open up avenues like collaborative webinars, podcasts, interviews, blogs, articles, events, link sharing, even social media takeovers and giveaways. So partnerships can hold a lot of value when they do complement your purpose or values. And it can positively contribute to your brand reputation and content strategy, as well as opening up the door to new sales opportunities. Now we can understand that the power consumers hold is incredible. And until brands realize this online power, they won't be able to improve their brand or customer experience. So online reviews help provide this insight and reasoning into problems that customers are having with their experience. We want to remember that customers place more faith and trust in other consumers like themselves. So online reviews have this substantial influence on brands' reputation. And keeping up with these customer reviews can be really challenging, but it is essential to know what your customers are saying. We want to enable this proactive investigation to address any issues, and better the brand and customer experience. Because when a brand can understand and pinpoint trends in their negative reviews, it can help develop this long-term fix to avoid the same future occurrence. So for example, if an unhappy customer posted a negative review with a complaint about our terrible service, we wouldn't want it to discourage any potential other customers. Instead, we need to reply, we need to acknowledge the problem, then we want to address our intention to improve on that issue, but most importantly, we want to ask them for any recommendations to make their next experience better. And by engaging these customers for constructive feedback, it demonstrates our devotion to bettering the brand experience. It improves the negative review that customer experience as well. And this is done through a resolution that leads to potential return instead of losing them as a customer. We don't want you to forget that this is all in the public eye as well. Like, everyone will see your positive approach. And for large enterprises, it might be hard to source all these reviews as they're scattered across hundreds of sites around the web. But by using an automated solution like Freshdesk, GatherUp, or Review Push, it can help you track all your online reviews, social media comments, and star ratings. For smaller businesses, monitoring online reviews can be a bit more demanding and manual. But you're able to claim listings and rely on alerts from those review site publishers, and it is a nice, cheaper alternative if you don't have that big budget. To take it one step further, we want to look at arguably one of the most successful ways to promote a brand's image online. And that's by acquiring more reviews for the business. Unfortunately, the challenge is that people are more likely to leave a negative review than a positive one. So I want you to consider the statistic that 97% of customers say reviews impact their buying decisions. And as a brand, we need to ask, remind, and guide customers through a well-timed request. The brand advocates won't post on their own. They need encouragement to publicize their positive and brand customer experiences. But for B2B businesses, it's quite a lot easier as there's this genuine, personal, well-timed request from an employee. And they've developed this strong relationship with the customer. And it's the single most effective trigger for acquiring new reviews. It comes back to making sure the branding experience transcends the purchase. This is done through follow-ups, exceptional customer support, and ongoing engagement. They're all essential. And to be successful, it requires these follow-throughs that are clear, direct, and we need to make it as easy as possible for the customer to complete the task. You can generate direct links for customers to leave reviews from your Google business page, for example. And while all these online reviews provide an important vector through which customers discover and evaluate a brand or business, social proof is the broader force at work here. Brands will then be able to amplify and establish a sense of trust through these customer reviews. And we want to post these and publish these positive reviews as content, for example, across social media, like videos to demonstrate authenticity, or even by including them in case studies or white papers to highlight our expertise. It all comes down to your particular marketing strategy. It's the best potential customers. It's best that potential customers find both positive and authentic information. So this could be the difference between you actually winning a customer or turning someone away from a sale. In the end, we need to think of ourselves as digital salespeople. But with the right foundation and the right structure, we're able to address the consumer needs, emotions, and competitive environments. We are the brand's voice and face, and we're consistently telling this story of our values and purpose. It's when we change our approach from what can I sell you to how can I help you that improve your brand and customer experience. Demonstrating this commitment beyond the sale purchase will help enhance your brand's reputation and it might even become your primary marketplace differentiator. And with 2021 being this new chapter for everyone, we want to think less about the customer is always right and more about the customer comes first. Thank you.